Commander Selene Maris stepped off the transport platform, her boots touching the polished floor of the Galactic Council chamber. The room was vast, taller than any human building she had ever seen, and wide enough to hold hundreds of delegates from worlds across the galaxy. Light shimmered across its walls, bouncing off smooth crystal panels that seemed almost alive, pulsing faintly with energy. Selene took a deep breath. She had been preparing for this moment for years. Earth had sent her as a representative of humanity, and she carried more than her own experience. She carried the hopes, the pride, and the unyielding spirit of an entire planet. She adjusted her uniform, the dark blue of Earth's Space Command with silver stripes marking her rank. She was ready. Delegates from 100 civilizations turned to look at her as she entered. Some were tall and elegant, with translucent, skin-revealing glowing veins beneath. Others had multiple limbs or eyes like orbs floating around their heads. Every species looked different, yet each bore the same curiosity and skepticism in their gaze. Commander Selene Maris of Earth. A deep, resonant voice boomed across the chamber. You have been summoned to present your planet's apex, predator. Speak now. Selene paused, letting the words sink in. Apex predator. The council expected something terrifying, something enormous, a creature of claws and fangs, a war machine bred for destruction. The whispers of the delegates behind her filled the room. Some scoffed, confident that humanity, fragile and soft compared to the species around them, could never measure up. She stood tall, her posture calm and unwavering. She raised one hand slowly, deliberately. The room fell silent. Behold, she said, her voice steady, carrying over the vast chamber. Earth's apex predator. The council's delegates leaned forward, expecting to see some monstrous creature appear before them. Perhaps a genetically engineered beast, perhaps a human augmented by machines and weaponry. Yet when Selene raised her hand, nothing extraordinary happened. Just a human woman, standing calmly in the middle of the chamber, hand raised like a simple greeting. Murmurs spread quickly. Is this some kind of joke? One delegate hissed, his tentacles twitching nervously. She cannot be serious. Another whispered, her multiple eyes narrowing. Selene let the silence stretch, allowing curiosity and tension to grow. Then she began to speak. Look at me, she said. I am not a creature of brute strength. I am not a beast that tears through forests or hunts my prey with claws. I am human, and humans are Earth's apex predators, not because we are the strongest, not because we are the fastest, but because we adapt. We survive. We endure. We learn. We create. We rise above every challenge. Some delegates shifted uneasily in their seats. Words, not weapons, were Selene's tool. Intelligence, will, and courage were her strength. She continued, painting a vivid picture of humanity's rise from the first humans walking the plains, of Earth to building civilizations that spanned the globe. On Earth we faced predators larger than ourselves, storms stronger than our homes, and disasters that wiped out thousands in an instant. We built tools, we built machines, we built societies. We learned from our failures and we persisted. The council's head delegate, an ancient being with crystalline skin, leaned forward. You speak well, human, but words alone do not prove apex strength. We have seen countless species claim intelligence. Show us, and we may consider your claim. Selene nodded. This was expected. Words could only do so much. Action was required. Very well, she said. If you wish to see Earth's apex predator in action, I will show you. But you must understand, the apex predator of Earth is not just a fighter. It is a thinker, a planner, a survivor. You cannot see it through raw power alone. With a gesture, the chamber transformed. Holographic projections erupted from the walls, displaying a series of landscapes, deserts, frozen tundras, deep oceans, and dense forests. Each scene was teeming with life, both beautiful and dangerous. Selene guided the council through Earth's challenges with precision. Observe, she said, the deserts. Life here is harsh. Temperatures soar in the day and drop at night. Water is scarce, yet humans thrive. We build shelters, harness water, and create tools to protect ourselves. Alone we are vulnerable, but together we become stronger. A projection shifted to the oceans. Massive waves crashed against rocky shores. Violent storms whipped through the skies. Humans navigated these waters with ships, machines powered by their knowledge of physics and engineering. Celine explained how humans explored the oceans, discovering creatures and environments that no other species had endured. The council watched, some delegates whispering in awe. Their minds had assumed that apex predators were defined by strength or lethality. They were beginning to see another measure: resilience, intelligence, and ingenuity. Celine then brought them to the frozen tundras of Earth's polar regions. Snow and ice stretched endlessly. Temperatures fell far below what most species could endure. Humans, she explained, did not just survive, they thrived. Clothing, heated shelters, and collaborative efforts allowed humans to endure environments that would destroy almost any other species. Finally, Celine's hologram shifted to the night skies. Stars, planets, and galaxies stretched into infinity. Humans had left Earth, exploring space, building ships that traveled farther than any other known species. The Council's delegates were silent now. The evidence was undeniable. This, Celine said, lowering her hand from the raised position, is Earth's apex predator. Not one being, but the species itself. Our strength lies not in muscle or claws, but in mind, will, and unity. We face challenges, adapt, and overcome. That is why humans endure. That is why humans rise above. For a long moment, the chamber was still. Delegates exchanged glances, some hesitant, some shocked, others impressed. The council had expected a display of raw physical power. Instead, they had witnessed something far more subtle and far more dangerous. A species that could outthink, outlast, and outmaneuver any opponent. One delegate, from a species known for its sheer physical dominance, leaned forward. You claim humans are apex predators, yet I see no weapons, no strength to rival even my own. Explain, how does your species defend itself? Celine smiled calmly. Through cooperation, strategy, and innovation. We learn from our environment, from our enemies, from each other. We use knowledge as our shield and creativity as our weapon. We turn obstacles into opportunities. That is how humans survive, and that is how humans dominate. Another delegate, whose many eyes glowed with curiosity, asked, "Can you prove this beyond stories and projections? Can your species survive in situations where brute force is required?" Selena's eyes gleamed. "We will show you. Humanity does not shy away from challenges. We rise to them." And with that, she stepped forward into the holographic simulation, ready to demonstrate human resilience, intelligence, and unity in ways that no other species could predict. The room was tense. Every delegate leaned closer, some in disbelief, some in fascination. They had been warned. They had been told humans were primitive. Yet here was proof that Earth's apex predator was not only real, it was extraordinary. As Celine prepared to enter the next phase of the test, she thought of Earth. The deserts, the oceans, the forests, the cities, the people. Every human who had struggled, fought, and survived had contributed to this moment. Humanity was being measured not by brute force, but by spirit, by mind, by heart, and she knew deep down that humans would not disappoint. The council watched, unaware of what was coming, yet instinctively feeling the quiet storm that was about to break. Celine raised her hand once more, not as a greeting, but as a signal. The simulations began. The room, vast and alien, seemed to shrink as the presence of humanity filled it, not with fear, but with awe. And for the first time, the delegates understood. They were not witnessing a single predator. They were witnessing a species that had conquered itself, the world, and now potentially the stars. The council chamber was silent after Celine's demonstration of Earth's apex predator. Delegates whispered among themselves, some still skeptical, others clearly impressed. Humans had shown survival, intelligence, and resilience, but could they withstand direct challenges? That question lingered like an invisible weight in the air. The head delegate, a tall being with crystalline plates for skin, leaned forward. Its voice was both musical and firm. Human Commander Maris, words and projections are admirable, but the Council requires proof. Earth's apex predator must show strength when tested. You will face a trial, a simulated environment with challenges, designed to measure your species' capacity to survive, adapt, and overcome. Selene nodded, calm as always. She understood the request. Physical strength alone was not what made humans exceptional. Yet she also knew that the Council's trial would push humans to their limits. "I understand," she said. "Lead the way." The chamber shifted again, and a large platform rose beneath Selene's feet. Holographic landscapes appeared, stretching in every direction. The simulation was designed to be interactive. She would navigate through desert storms, frozen tundras, dense forests, and alien battlefields. Every choice, every action, would be observed and measured. The first environment materialized, a scorching desert under a twin sun. Winds blew fiercely, carrying clouds of dust that stung any exposed skin. Massive sand dunes stretched endlessly, hiding unknown predators and sudden sand traps. Selene's sensors provided readings, heat levels, dehydration rates, and shifting terrain patterns. "Observe," Selene spoke, her voice carrying across the simulation to the Council. "Humans are not the fastest or strongest species, but we survive harsh environments through planning and adaptation. We conserve water, build shelters, and work together to overcome obstacles. Alone, a human may struggle, but as a team, we endure." Suddenly, sandstorms intensified in the simulation, and holographic predators appeared, giant lizards with armor-like scales, creatures that could swallow a human whole. Selene moved quickly, demonstrating how humans could use the environment to their advantage. She dug temporary shelters, used reflective surfaces to confuse predators, and guided her team to safe paths through the dunes. The Council observed closely. Some delegates leaned forward, intrigued. They had expected humans to fail, to falter in the harsh desert, yet here was evidence of survival through intelligence and strategy, not brute force. The simulation shifted abruptly. Snow and ice replaced the burning sands, and Selene found herself in a frozen tundra. Ice sheets stretched endlessly, cracking beneath unseen weight. Temperatures dropped far below human tolerance, and blizzards threatened to obscure vision entirely. "Here," Selene said, gesturing to the icy terrain, "humans endure extremes. We build insulated shelters, utilize fire and heating technology, and adapt clothing to survive sub-zero climates. We communicate constantly, sharing knowledge and guidance because cooperation is survival." Holographic predators appeared, massive polar beasts with thick fur and jagged teeth. Selene and her team devised clever traps using ice formations, reflected light and sound to mislead the predators. They moved cautiously, conserving energy, and worked together to navigate the frozen landscape. The Council's murmurs grew louder. "Remarkable," whispered one delegate whose tentacle-like appendages twitched in fascination. "They anticipate danger. They adapt in real time. Few species could manage such extremes." Next, the simulation shifted to dense jungles and rainforests. Humid air filled the chamber, and towering trees surrounded Selene. Rivers flowed rapidly, and venomous creatures lurked in shadows. Humans had no natural camouflage or physical weapons strong enough to kill giant predators instantly. Yet Selene guided her team with ingenuity. They used vines to swing across rivers, set up barriers to control predator movement, and created simple tools from the environment to defend themselves. "Observe humans in complexity," Selene explained. "We do not rely solely on power. We rely on observation, learning, and creativity. We turn limitations into advantages. Predators attacked, but humans did not panic. Instead, they coordinated. They lured predators into traps, improvised weapons, and escaped dangers that seemed insurmountable. Each action demonstrated more than strength. It demonstrated intelligence, teamwork, and persistence. Then came the final test, a simulated alien battlefield designed specifically to challenge humans' adaptability. Terrain shifted rapidly, from high gravity to low gravity, from extreme heat to freezing cold. Strange creatures with multiple limbs, sharp claws, and advanced hunting instincts pursued them relentlessly. The council watched intently, unsure if humans could survive this ultimate trial. Selene led her team with calm precision. They used gravity shifts to move quickly, turning what would hinder other species into an advantage. They adapted to alien attacks, finding patterns in predators' behavior and predicting their movements. They communicated silently, signaling strategies with gestures and tools designed on the spot. In one moment, a massive predator lunged at a human teammate. Selene caught a nearby tool, redirected the predator, and guided her team to safety. The council gasped. Humans had not relied on direct combat. They had used ingenuity, foresight, and coordination to survive. This, Selene said, addressing the council, is the strength of humans. We endure challenges that seem impossible. We innovate under pressure. We adapt faster than most species, and we learn from every failure. This is how humans dominate their environment, not through claws or teeth, but through mind and will. Some delegates were visibly shaken. They had expected brute force, raw power, and instant domination. Instead, they saw humans thriving in conditions designed to destroy them, using brains, not brawn. A delegate from a warrior species, known for immense physical strength, spoke out. Your species survives not by fighting, but by thinking. Yet, thinking alone cannot protect against all threats. How do humans defend themselves when intelligence is not enough? Selene's expression was calm, almost serene. Intelligence is the foundation. Strategy, cooperation, and adaptation are the tools. Humans have survived predators stronger than us, diseases that could kill us instantly, and disasters that wiped out civilizations. We endure not because we are the strongest, but because we never give up. That is our defense and our strength. The simulation reached its conclusion. The environments dissolved, leaving Selene standing in the middle of the chamber once again. She lowered her hand, letting the council absorb the display. Silence filled the room, heavy with awe and disbelief. Humans had not merely survived the trial. They had excelled in ways no other species might have imagined. One delegate finally spoke, his voice tinged with respect. Human Commander Maris, you have shown ingenuity beyond what we anticipated. Many of us assumed that Earth's apex predator would be a creature of raw power. Instead, you have demonstrated a species capable of strategy, endurance, and adaptation on levels most civilizations never achieve. You have my attention. Another, delegate younger and less experienced, whispered to a companion, I did not expect this. Humans. They are unlike anything I have ever seen. Selene allowed herself a small smile. She knew the trial was not over. Other challenges would come, more tests designed to push humans further. But she also knew the Council could no longer dismiss Earth. They could no longer see humans as primitive or weak. This is only the beginning, Selene said quietly, more to herself than anyone else. Humanity will show the galaxy what it means to survive, to rise, to endure. For the Council, the trial had been a revelation. They had expected strength measured in teeth, claws, or firepower. Instead, they had witnessed strength measured in intelligence, resilience, and unity. Humanity's presence in the galaxy was no longer a curiosity. It was a force to be respected. Selene turned her gaze outward, toward the holographic stars that dotted the chamber walls. Humanity's journey had begun on a small planet, but it was now reaching toward the stars themselves. Every challenge faced in the simulation had been a mirror of what humans had faced in reality, and every problem had been met with determination and creativity. The delegates, once skeptical, now looked on with a mixture of wonder and respect. Some were still hesitant, unable to fully comprehend the human spirit. Others were quietly convinced. Earth's apex predator was real, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever encountered. As the chamber lights dimmed slightly, signaling the end of the trial, Selene stepped back. She had proved what she needed to prove. Humans were not merely survivors. They were masters of adaptation, champions of ingenuity, and the true apex predators of Earth. And the Council, for the first time, understood that they were witnessing something extraordinary. The Council chamber buzzed with quiet murmurs as the simulations ended. Delegates shifted in their seats, some still skeptical, some clearly impressed. Selena Maris remained calm, her eyes scanning the room. She knew this moment was crucial. Words and simulations had shown humans' adaptability and intelligence, but now she had to reveal the true apex predator of Earth. She raised her hand once more, and the chamber dimmed, the walls transforming into a panoramic projection of Earth itself. Oceans shimmered, forests stretched endlessly, deserts glimmered under the sun, and mountains pierced the clouds. The planet pulsed with life, from the tiniest insects to the massive whales that swam across oceans. This, Selene said, her voice steady, is where humans live. Every environment you see has been challenged, tested, and endured by my species. We have faced predators larger, faster, and stronger than ourselves. We have faced disasters that would have ended other civilizations, and yet we persist. She guided the Council through the deserts first. Holographic humans moved through, dunes carrying water and tools, navigating sandstorms that could blind or bury them. Large predatory creatures lurked in the background, hunting instinctively. The humans adapted, building shelters, devising traps, conserving resources, and working together to survive. Humans are not naturally the strongest, Selene explained. We are not the fastest. But our mind allows us to solve problems, to innovate, to plan for the unexpected. That is why we endure. That is why we thrive. The scene shifted to the frozen tundras of Earth's poles. Holographic humans trudged through deep snow, battling blizzards and sub-zero temperatures. Ice predators stalked them, massive creatures, with jagged teeth and thick fur. Humans built insulated shelters, used fire, and coordinated their movements to stay safe. They improvised tools and tactics in real time, demonstrating foresight and resilience. A low murmur ran through the Council chamber. Some delegates, particularly those from physically dominant species, were visibly unsettled. They had always assumed that apex predators were defined by physical prowess, yet here was evidence that intellect, cooperation, and endurance could be just as lethal, if not more so. The projection shifted to dense forests and jungles. Humans navigated rivers, climbed trees, and used natural resources to create weapons and traps. Dangerous predators stalked them, venomous snakes, large carnivores, and flying hunters. Humans survived by observing patterns, predicting behavior, and reacting with precise timing. Every failure became a lesson, every challenge a new opportunity to improve. Selene's voice carried clearly across the chamber. Observe humans in adversity. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every failure is a lesson. We do not rely on instinct alone. We learn, we adapt, we overcome. That is the apex predator of Earth. The Council was quiet, absorbing her words and the vivid imagery. Some delegates whispered to one another. They are different, one said. Not stronger, yet unstoppable. Selene then shifted the projection to human history. Ancient humans walked across plains with nothing but simple tools. Cities rose from forests and deserts, powered by ingenuity and determination. Machines carried humans across oceans, through skies, and eventually into space. Wars, diseases, and disasters threatened to wipe out civilizations, yet humans rebuilt, learned, and advanced. This is the true apex predator, Selene said. Not one being, not one creature, but a species united by intelligence, courage, and willpower. We do not dominate by strength alone. We dominate by learning, by innovating, by enduring. That is why humans have risen from Earth's surface to reach the stars. Some delegates leaned forward, fascinated. Others remained skeptical, unable to grasp a predator that did not fight with claws or weapons, yet the evidence was undeniable. Humans survived environments that would destroy other species, outmaneuvered predators, and overcame challenges that required more than brute force. A young delegate, its voice trembling slightly, asked, "But, Commander Maris, how do you fight when threats are immediate? When survival is a matter of life and death?" Selene smiled calmly. "Humans fight in many ways. We fight with our minds, with strategy, with cooperation. We fight by anticipating threats, turning obstacles into advantages, and working together. Every challenge is met with creativity and resilience. That is how humans survive and thrive where others might fall." The council remained silent, considering her words. They had seen countless species claim intelligence, claim strength, and claim dominance. None had demonstrated the quiet, persistent, adaptive power that humans possessed. Selene continued, her tone measured, confident. "You see, every predator has a strength, every species a weapon. Some rely on teeth, others on speed, some on armor or size. Humans rely on all of these indirectly. We create tools to amplify our strength. We create machines to expand our reach. We adapt to every environment. We survive, and in surviving, we dominate. That is why Earth's apex predator is not a single creature. It is humanity itself." The projection shifted again, this time showing humans in space. Ships sailed through the void, exploring planets, building colonies, and navigating dangers far beyond Earth. Selene's voice resonated with quiet pride. From a small planet, humans reached the stars. From survival on plains and forests, we built civilizations capable of interstellar travel. Our strength is not in our claws or fangs, but in our mind, our creativity, and our determination. That is why humans endure, and why humans are apex predators. Delegates were visibly moved. Some had never considered that survival, intelligence, and adaptability could be more powerful than raw physical strength. The room was a mix of awe, curiosity, and silent respect. One of the older council members, its crystalline body refracting light in sharp patterns, finally spoke. "You have shown us something unexpected, human. A predator not measured by brute force but by intellect, endurance, and unity. Few species could achieve what your kind has. Yet, can humans maintain this dominance when faced with other civilizations that challenge your methods directly?" Selene's gaze did not waver. "Humans do not rely solely on what they know. We learn, we adapt, and we overcome. Every challenge strengthens us. Every failure teaches us. That is how humans endure, not only on Earth but wherever we go. Our dominance is not arrogance. It is persistence, creativity, and will. That is why humans are the apex predator of Earth." A whisper ran through the chamber. Delegates who had doubted humanity now looked at one another, unsure how to respond. Humans had been underestimated for centuries, considered weak or primitive. Yet here was undeniable proof that Earth had produced a species capable of overcoming any obstacle, thriving where others might fail and advancing beyond expectation. Selene stepped forward, her voice calm and commanding. "You have witnessed Earth and its apex predator. You have seen how humans adapt, survive, and dominate. Yet this is only a fraction of what humans can achieve. We are more than survivors. We are thinkers, creators, explorers, and warriors, not in the sense of destruction, but in the sense of triumph over adversity. That is our greatest strength." The council remained silent, absorbing the presentation. Even the most skeptical members could no longer deny what they had seen. Humans were not defined by size, strength, or ferocity. They were defined by mind, will, and resilience, the true markers of an apex predator. Selene lowered her hand, signaling the end of her demonstration. The room remained quiet, the weight of realization settling over the delegates. Humanity had revealed itself not through brute power, but through the quiet, unstoppable force of adaptation and intelligence. Finally, the head delegate spoke. "Commander Maris, your demonstration has challenged our understanding of what an apex predator is. We expected strength measured in physical power, yet you have shown that true dominance can be intelligence, resilience, and ingenuity. Earth's apex predator is indeed extraordinary. Celine nodded, her expression calm but proud. Earth has endured for millennia. Humans have faced every challenge the planet has offered and emerged stronger each time. That is what makes us apex predators. That is what makes us a species to be reckoned with in the galaxy. As she stepped back, the chamber lights brightened once again. The council delegates were silent, many reflecting on what they had seen. Humanity had not only survived but had exceeded every expectation. The apex predator of Earth was no myth, no exaggeration. It was real, undeniable, and unlike anything the galaxy had known. Celine knew this was only the beginning. The Council's recognition was a milestone, but there would be further tests, further challenges, and further opportunities to demonstrate humanity's strength. Yet for now, she allowed herself a quiet moment of satisfaction. Humans had proven themselves not with claws or fangs, but with mind, courage, and determination. And in that chamber, for the first time, the galaxy began to see Earth and its people, not as primitive observers, but as apex predators in their own right. The council chamber had quieted after Celine's breathtaking demonstration. Delegates whispered, some in awe, others still skeptical. Humanity had revealed its true strength, not through claws or weapons, but through intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork. Yet not all were convinced. A ripple of tension spread through the room as a representative of the Sarkan Dominion, a species known across the galaxy for their strength and strict codes of honor, stood. Its forearms flexed, muscles bulging beneath sleek armor. Its voice boomed like a low thunderclap. Commander Maris, humans claim to be apex predators through cunning and endurance. Yet we see only simulations and projections. I challenge your claim. Let humans prove their worth where strength and strategy meet in direct confrontation. Murmurs ran through the chamber. The Sarkan Dominion were feared warriors, known for demanding proof through conflict. Celine's gaze remained steady. This challenge was expected. Humans had faced far greater challenges than a skeptical alien species. They thrived on it. Very well, Celine replied calmly. We accept your challenge. But understand this. The test of true strength is not only physical. Humans fight differently. We adapt, we innovate, and we overcome. You will see not just power, but ingenuity in action. The chamber transformed once again. A massive arena appeared, stretching far beyond the walls, filled with varied terrains, rocky cliffs, dense forests, rivers, and open plains. Holographic hazards were embedded throughout. Sudden rock slides, fast-moving rivers, and mechanical drones simulating alien predators. Humans and Sarkan warriors were to work together in this trial, yet the challenge required cooperation under extreme conditions. Celine turned to her small human team. Each was trained not just in combat, but in problem-solving, survival, and teamwork. We will show them, she said, that strength is not only in muscle, but in mind and will. We survive and triumph together. The Sarkan warriors launched, first moving with precision and power. They could leap high cliffs, scale walls, and strike with tremendous force. Human soldiers followed, observing the terrain carefully. They did not try to match brute force with brute force. Instead, they analyzed the environment, studied the opponent's patterns, and looked for opportunities to turn hazards into advantages. A sudden rock slide blocked the path of both humans and Sarkan warriors. While the Sarkans struggled against the falling debris, humans quickly used ropes, pulleys, and their surroundings to clear the path and create a safe bridge. One human soldier spotted a vulnerable drone hovering near the cliffs and devised a simple trap using reflective panels to redirect its sensors, causing it to crash harmlessly. The council watched closely. Some delegates gasped. Humans were not fighting in a traditional sense. They were thinking, observing, and using intelligence to turn the environment to their advantage. Next came a fast-moving river that separated the two sides. The Sarkans tried to leap across, some falling into the churning water. Humans used floating platforms constructed on the spot, utilizing available materials and physics to create a safe passage. They helped stranded Sarkans, building trust despite the challenge's competitive nature. Selene's voice carried over the arena. Strength is not measured by dominance alone. It is measured by survival, adaptation, and cooperation. Humans do not fight recklessly. We assess, plan, and act. The Sarkan warriors, initially confident in their raw power, began to notice the humans' skill. Humans moved with precision, improvising tools, predicting hazards, and solving problems, faster than expected. They turned disadvantages into advantages, obstacles into opportunities. A large predator drone, designed to test reflexes and coordination, lunged at a human soldier. Without hesitation, the soldier used a combination of ropes, mirrors, and timing to redirect the drone into a safe trap. The council murmured in amazement. Humans were not only surviving, they were outsmarting challenges that other species would have struggled against. The simulation escalated. Gravity shifted in sections of the arena, terrain changed abruptly, and unpredictable hazards appeared. Sarkans relied on brute strength to overcome each challenge. Humans adapted immediately, using teamwork, tools, and strategy to navigate the rapidly changing environment. They anticipated each obstacle, collaborated in real time, and maximized their chances of success. At one point, a cliff collapsed, separating humans from a group of Sarkans. Instead of panicking, humans used ropes and pulleys to create a makeshift bridge. They signaled to the Sarkans, guiding them safely across. The Sarkan warriors, once skeptical, now realized that human strength was not in sheer force but in resilience, intelligence, and cooperation. Selene observed quietly, noting every move, every adjustment. Humans were proving a critical lesson. Power alone was not enough. The galaxy had assumed dominance belonged to those with physical strength or advanced weaponry. Humanity's strength came from a combination of mind, will, and unity. One of the council members whispered to a colleague, "They do not fight like others, yet they are stronger in ways we did not expect. They survive where others fail. They adapt instantly. That is remarkable." The final challenge in the arena was a simulated collapse of an artificial star system. Planets teetered on the edge of destruction, and both humans and Sarkans had to stabilize the system using available technology and creative problem-solving. The Sarkans struggled to apply brute force, attempting to move massive planetary machinery with sheer strength. Humans analyzed patterns, calculated trajectories, and used improvised tools to stabilize the planets efficiently. Selene guided her team calmly. "Observe carefully," she said to the council. "Strength alone cannot solve complex problems. Adaptation, creativity, and cooperation are required. That is humanity's advantage." By the end of the trial, the human team had stabilized the system, saved stranded allies, and overcome every hazard. The Sarkans, powerful as they were, could not achieve the same results without human guidance and ingenuity. The arena dissolved, returning the chamber to its original state. Silence fell over the council. The head delegate of the council, its crystalline body shimmering with light, finally spoke. "Humanity has demonstrated something unique. Your species' strength lies not in sheer physicality, but in intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. You have faced direct challenge from a species of immense power and succeeded through ingenuity. We underestimated you. That much is clear." Selene nodded. "Earth is home to many predators, but the apex predator is the species itself. We do not dominate by force alone. We dominate by thinking, adapting, and enduring. That is why humans endure every challenge, overcome every threat, and continue to rise." A younger delegate, visibly impressed, whispered to its neighbor, "They do not fight as we expect, yet they succeed where others would fail. Humans, they are extraordinary." Selene allowed herself a small smile. She knew the trial was a turning point. Humanity's reputation had been challenged, and they had not only survived, they had excelled. The council could no longer dismiss humans as weak or primitive. One of the Sarkan warriors approached Selene cautiously. Its voice, softer than before, admitted, "Humans, you have shown us strength we did not understand. I underestimated your methods. You are worthy opponents and allies alike." Selene nodded respectfully. "Strength comes in many forms. We do not seek to dominate for power alone. We seek to endure, to learn, and to rise together. That is how humans thrive." The council convened in a private session afterward, debating, in low tones. Humans had proven themselves not through battle alone but through creativity, intelligence, and unyielding will. Their ability to survive impossible challenges and turn obstacles into opportunities was undeniable. Selene remained, standing, observing quietly. She knew that the final recognition was still ahead, yet she also understood that humanity had achieved something few species ever managed: the respect of the galaxy's most powerful delegates. As the chamber lights dimmed and the council session concluded, Selene reflected on the trial. Every human who had faced adversity, from the deserts of Earth to the stars themselves, had contributed to this moment. Humanity had shown that its true power was not in strength, size, or ferocity, but in mind, will, and unity. The trial had ended, but the story was far from over. The galaxy had begun to see humans for what they truly were: adaptable, creative, resilient, and unstoppable. The apex predator of Earth was not a single creature. It was a species capable of confronting any challenge, outthinking any opponent, and surviving against all odds. Selene's eyes gleamed with quiet pride. Humanity had proven its worth. The Council had witnessed the extraordinary, and soon the galaxy would learn that Earth's apex predator was ready to step fully onto the interstellar stage. The council chamber glowed with quiet light as the delegates returned from their private discussions. The trial was over, and every member of the assembly had seen the humans prove themselves in ways few had expected. For centuries, humanity had been regarded as young, untested, and reckless. Yet in just one session, those beliefs had been shaken to their core. Selene Maris stood calmly at the center of the chamber, her team behind her. Though the faces of her fellow humans were tired, their eyes held pride. They had shown the galaxy the truth: humanity was not weak. Humanity was a force unlike any other. The head delegate, whose crystalline body pulsed with shifting colors, raised its voice, echoing through the vast chamber. "Commander Selene Maris, humanity has faced the trial. We witnessed not only strength, but resilience, ingenuity, and unity. Few species could have endured as you did. Yet before we reach our decision, we ask you one final question." A hush fell over the chamber. The delegates leaned forward, eager to hear the last test. The head delegate's voice rang out clearly. "Why should humanity be granted recognition as an apex species among the stars? Why should we not fear you or dismiss you as others have done before?" Selene's gaze swept across the chamber. Every species present had different eyes, different forms, different ways of understanding strength. She raised her hand slowly, the same hand she had raised before when she first declared humanity's place. The gesture was simple, yet the room stilled as if time itself waited. "Because we are more than predators," Selene said, her voice steady and clear. "We are creators. We are explorers. We are survivors. Humanity is dangerous, yes, but not because we seek to destroy. We are dangerous because we never stop adapting, never stop learning, and never stop rising. That is why Earth's apex predator is not feared alone. It is respected." The council chamber remained silent, listening. Selene continued. "On Earth, we were not the fastest. We were not the strongest. Many creatures had sharper teeth, thicker hides, or greater speed, yet none endured as we did. We learned from every challenge. We made tools, we made fire. We turned storms, mountains, and even the silence of space into paths forward. That is what makes humanity different. We are not bound to one strength. We create strength where there was none." She let her words echo, her calm presence filling the chamber. "When you ask for Earth's apex predator, it is not one beast. It is us. Humanity is the predator that thinks, that plans, that creates. And unlike any other predator, we look beyond ourselves. We do not simply hunt, we build, we dream, we imagine futures no one else has seen. The crystalline head delegates, light pulsed brighter, reflecting thought. Other delegates shifted uneasily. Some were still cautious. Some were deeply moved. Celine pressed forward. You ask why you should not fear us. I tell you this. Humans are at our strongest not when we dominate but when we endure together. We fight for survival, yes, but we also fight for hope, for knowledge, for each other. That is what makes us worthy of standing here. Her words were not spoken with arrogance but with calm certainty. The chamber's silence grew heavier, filled with the weight of decision. At last, the head delegate spoke. Then humanity has given its final answer. Council members, cast your voices. One by one, the alien delegates raised their symbols of judgment. The insectoid race with shimmering wings clicked in approval. The reptilian species hissed but raised its sign reluctantly. Even the Sarkin Dominion warrior, who had challenged the humans so fiercely, lifted its massive hand in agreement. Only a few delegates hesitated. Yet when the final vote was tallied, the outcome was clear. The head delegate's crystalline body shone with golden light. The Council recognizes humanity as an apex species. Earth shall stand among the stars not as a child to be guided, but as an equal to be respected. A wave of sound rippled through the chamber. Gasps, murmurs, even cheers. For the first time in history, humanity was no longer an outsider. They had claimed their place. Celine allowed herself a slow breath. Her hand lowered, but her resolve did not. She had carried the weight of her species, and humanity had risen higher than ever before. The Sarkin warrior approached, its heavy footsteps echoing across the floor. It bowed its head slightly, a gesture rare among its kind. Commander Maris, humans, you have earned respect. Your strength is not like ours, but it is strength all the same. I would fight beside you in war, or stand with you in peace. Celine inclined her head in return. We will remember this, and when the time comes, humans will stand beside you as well. We are stronger together. Other delegates came forward, too, some offering cautious nods, others offering words of curiosity or even admiration. Humanity was no longer an unknown species of a small blue planet. They were now seen as a force with potential to shape the galaxy itself. But Celine knew the recognition was only the beginning. Humanity's journey among the stars was just starting. There would be alliances to build, challenges to face, and dangers to endure. Recognition brought opportunity, but also responsibility. Later, when the chamber emptied and the council session ended, Celine stood alone for a moment. Through the massive windows, she looked out at the stars. Each point of light was a world, a possibility, a future waiting to be written. Humanity had claimed its place, but the road ahead stretched far beyond anything they had yet known. A younger human officer standing beside her whispered softly, "Commander, we did it. The Council respects us now. Humanity has a future, out here." Celine nodded, her eyes still on the stars. "Yes, but remember, respect is not given once for all time. It must be kept. We will prove ourselves again and again, not just as predators, but as builders of tomorrow." The officer smiled faintly. "Do you think they'll ever truly understand us?" Selena's lips curved into the smallest of smiles. "Perhaps not fully. Humanity is difficult to understand, even for ourselves. But they will learn what matters most, that humans do not stop. No matter the challenge, no matter the odds, we endure." The stars seemed to shimmer brighter, as if answering her words. For all of history, humans had looked up at the night sky, dreaming of their place among the stars. Now, standing before the galaxy itself, they had claimed that place. Not as the strongest, not as the fastest, not as the fiercest, but as the most enduring. The Council had asked to see Earth's apex predator. Humanity had raised its hand, and the galaxy would never forget the answer.